Well, good morning and welcome to my very first vlog. For those that are new to the Koi channel, I'm Frank. Normally I'm the other side of the camera filming someone's pond or some sort of feature video, but in this new series I'm going to keep you up to date with what I get up to in my own koi keeping. In this first vlog I'm going to show you how my pond has evolved over the last 3 years, and then start to show you what I got up to at the back end of last year, which should set the scene nicely for my next vlog, which will cover my big shower project. So I first built the pond in 2018, 6 metres long, 2 metres wide and 1.35 metres deep. I initially started off with a Nexus running off a single 4-inch bottom drain, and then that water returned to the pond via a 3 kilowatt electric sucking heater and a 55 watt UV. And this is a little clip from the morning when the first fish went in. Soon after those first few fish went in, I went to see Chris and Graham at Kitsu Koi. I wanted to try and fill the pond out, but I had no money. So they did me a bit of a bargain bowl of mixed tosai, and then I also got a Nisai Chagoi from Marahiro. And then later in the year I added an Achiba from, I think it's called Kamazaki. I'll write it at the bottom because I can't remember it. By the end of that first year I properly started to get into the old koi keeping hobby, and the pond had sort of, for me, I have to have something to think about, and the thing that I'd started to focus on was my pond. Now I wanted to try and improve it the following year, and I wanted to put some better fish in it and also some fish that definitely had jumbo potential. But the first thing I wanted to do was make sure the pond was ready for them. Now the Nexus was cool, it worked, but there was a few drawbacks and limitations in my opinion. I'm not saying that they don't work, just I could never find the balance. I'd either have to run it slow so that the fines got caught properly by the centre section, and you've got plenty of time in the biological stage on the outer side, but then the pond would be full of fines and the bottom drain would be full of crap. Then you'd run it fast, your bottom drain would be clear but it'd pull the fines through, and then you've got no contact time with the K1 in the outer chamber. So for me, with this size pond, it didn't work. And with the new way I'd started thinking about, you trap in a load of fish poo and then you pull in the water through the fish poo. Probably too in depth for this part of the video, but I'm just going to explain why I changed it after only 6 months. I'm not saying the crap, just not for my strange way of thinking. You've got a load of fish poo around a cylinder, and all the water from the pond is pulling through the fish poo, which is constantly leaking pollutants. And just a proper backwards way of doing it in my way of thinking. So the first thing I did in 2019 was fit a drum with like a custom bio chamber, and then all the water, once it had gone through that system, some of the water would go through the bio, some would just be pulled just from the drum. Then all of that water was pumped back in via a single width Momotaro Baki shower. Then I set about improving the fish that were going in, and I very much wanted at least a few fish in the pond. I don't want all my fish in the pond jumbo, because then I'm really limited to how many fish I can actually have in the pond. So the first few fish to go in, the first 2 I'd had my eye on since pretty much the first time I'd ever been to Absolute Koi, was a Nisai Yamabuki Ogon from Momotaro, and I think Yonzai Chagoi from Marahiro.
Let's give it some perspective.
Give her a stroke, mate. She's a big one. That's what I'm talking about, my old sausage. She is now a hippopotamus chunk. Get up there, bigger. So the next fish to go in was a Makashi Ogon from Tagigawa. This was 63 cm at Nisai, and this fish is stonking on. The next two fish to go in was a Jumbo Tosai Sankei from Momotaro and a Kajaku from Afuchi. Funny thing with the Kajaku actually, I'd sent Mike at Kwenikoi a bit of a shopping list because he was out in Japan, and on it I'd put Kajaku, and then in brackets I'd put red Benny, nice head pattern, and lo and behold at about 4 in the morning Mike had sent me a video that looked like it was filmed on a potato of a nice Kajaku with a nice head pattern and a red Benny plate. So yeah. Last year, upgrades wise, after receiving quite a monumental electric bill from having a 3 kilowatt electric heater on for pretty much 2 years, I decided to fit a gas boiler, and yeah, it's been absolutely brilliant. And at some point not too long away, definitely well before next winter, I'm going to do a proper full vlog all about heating ponds. By the way, I'm not trying to pretend that I'm some sort of expert, I'm just going to tell you about my thoughts and findings. Also, I fitted reverse osmosis last year. The water chemistry here has changed. The year before, the pH was about 7.7, 7.8, which weren't too bad. But this year, it's steadily crept up from that to being more like 8.3, 8.4. And I'll talk about it in depth in a different vlog, but if you've got a bit of ammonia at a pH of like 8.2, that has a big effect. Whereas if you've got a pH of 7.2, it's less toxic. So I installed RO, and steadily over time, and I mean really steadily, brought the pH down to about 7.3, 7.4 with a KH of 1.5. I haven't gone for any sort of fancy system, just a real basic straightforward RO setup. Oh! Yeah.
I've been stood there waiting for you.
Have you?
Yeah.
The missus has brought me a big... Let me tell you, it don't need to be Christmas for this bad boy to come out. Coffee with sugar. She's a good one. So last year, I added 6 fish. The first one that went in was a Ginrin Chagoi from Otsuka. I was out doing my Christmas shopping and sat waiting for the missus in New Look. I went on Facebook, and Mike at Kwenikoi posted a picture just of its back, and I've been trying to find one with really nice skin and lustre. It's pretty much since I'd first built the pond. So straight away I messaged Mike and said, what's this picture you've posted on Facebook? And then he sent me a video, and yeah, no one got any Christmas presents that year because I spent all my money on that fish. The next fish to go in, I'd actually watched grow from Tosai. I'd had my eye on it for quite a while. It was a Nisai Isa Showa. I actually brought it from the Kwenikoi winter event, and for me it was the best fish in the event, but somehow it went unsold, so it ended up being, definitely looking at the prices this year, a proper bargain. After that there was a couple more Isa Tosai went in, 2 of them. A Marudo Kindai Showa Tosai, and a fish that I think has got probably almost the most potential in my pond, a Ginrin Kahaku from Momotaro. It is properly nice, just really nice, really nice. And this is a little compilation of them all on the day that they went in. So, I hope that's given you a good idea where the pond was at the end of last year, and that's when this vlog officially starts. So I'd been away to Calder Forest with the missus, and it was while I was up there I decided that when I got back I was going to start the koi channel, and as an ongoing feature of the channel I was going to do this vlog. Now I've been debating on doing a vlog pretty much since I first started the pond, but every time I've gone to start one there's either been some sort of an issue with the pond, or I'd feel like the pond was finished. But if there's anything I've learnt over the last 3 years, no pond is ever really finished, and no pond is ever without some sort of an issue. And lo and behold, that is exactly what I came to find in September. So I got back, dumped my bags, came out to the pond to see the fish and check they was alright, and straight away I found I had a bit of an issue. So after finding what I thought was the early signs of an ulcer, I sat and did my normal water readings. Now from the start of July, I've been feeding 10 feeds a day, and every 3 days I'd progressively increase my feed durations after a bit of a 3-point check. So on the night of increasing the food, I'd sit and make sure none of the fish were getting fat, make sure that the last feed of the day was consumed within 4 minutes, and then I'd wait 45 minutes and do an ammonia and nitrite check. So on the Tuesday before I went away, I went to do my normal 3-point check and found that my ammonia and nitrite had just slightly started to creep up. So I thought, I'm not going to increase the food yet, I'll wait till the Friday before I go away. Then when I did a reading just before I left, I found that it had actually gone up even more. So I thought, I'm going to hold fire, keep my foot on the gas with the food and see what the crack is on the Monday when I get back. Then after I'd done that next set of readings, it had gone up further. So at that point, the only real safe thing I could do was knock the food back 20%, knowing that before I'd increased it the previous time, that was my threshold for what the filtration could take. So that week I got the pen and paper out, and I'd had a design in my head from the start of the year of a shower that was very unconventional, but I knew would work. I'd showed the design to a couple of people and they'd scratched their head, and I don't think they could quite get their head around how it exactly would work, but I knew it would. So after a whole week of head scratching, beard stroking and about 30 designs, I decided that on the Sunday I was going to go and order the shower, then when I got back sort out the Chagoi. Just about to drop Darren the drawings off. the deed done on the shower. Final blade design. Final bottom tray design. Are we on the same page?
Yeah, yes, we are.
Sad. Hoppers filled. Ready for an Indian summer. So this is my plans food wise to end the year. In fact, I'll run you through my actual bit of an end of year plan. Then I'll run you through the shower design, and then I'm going to get my Chag out for a sort out. So, out of the feeder, and I've tried various different combinations of mix between. This is Saki Hikari floating, this is Saki Hikari sinking. Both balance, both the same food, just floating and sinking. I've done loads of trials, and I found the absolute best, without a doubt, is just feeding out of the feeder anyway. Just sinking, no floating at all. So I feed just sinking out of the feeder, and then my hand feeds, or if we have visitors or whatever, I'll chuck in the floating. So I use that really just to bring them up in the water. Other than that, they're on sinking. And then at the end of the season, when I transfer from sort of 20C to 18C, I'll transfer over to this. So I'll like go 25, 75, 50, 50 cent. You get the gist. And work my way over to the, this is both the same food by the way, both sinking. This is just Hikari sinking wheat germ. So that's the plan. Feeder food, hand feeding food. So at the minute, I'm feeding 10 feeds a day. The sinking food only is 4 grams per second out of the Jap style feeder. So at the minute I'm on 520 grams. This Monday, I did actually have to knock the food back 20%. This is why I've pulled the trigger on the shower project. I had to knock the food back 20%. Now that same night when I took the readings, that last feed before, the fish had demolished every last pellet within 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So I know they're not quite having as much food as they should be. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to overfeed the fish or rush the fish. I don't want swimming pork chops or out like that. I don't want my filter to be like the limiting factor of what I can feed. I want to be able to feed exactly what the fish want to grow properly. But I'm not trying to overfeed them to force growth, just support growth. I hope I've made that make sense. So this is my little bit of a sad plan. 2 weeks today, I want this shower on and cooking. 20th of September. Then I'm going to give it a couple of weeks to start to come to life and start to steadily, and I mean in general what I do, I add a second onto each feed. So I get an extra 40 grams a day. So I'll give it a couple of weeks and start to add a second onto each feed and do my readings. After like a couple of days, I'll start taking readings, make sure that it's not creeping up. Then on the 22nd, so I think it'll give me like a 6-week delayed growth period. I know a few people that much prefer having like a October, November, December growing period. So I don't feel like I've lost out that much if I get this shower on in time and get it alive. Then at the end of my growing period, 22nd of November, up to that point I'm going to hold 23C. Boiler will have no bother with that at all. And then at that point I'm going to drop 0.2C a day nice and steadily over 40 days, which will bring me to the 1st of Jan. And I'm going to come down from 23 to 15C. So that's the plan. Whether or not it all works out, I'm quite confident. When I spoke to the engineer earlier, he's promised me it'll be ready for next week at the latest. So, and he seemed an honest fella. So I'm sure that'll work out nice. It's more down to me then, pulling my finger out. I'll have to get in touch with my cousin to come and give me an hand. So, this is the shower design. In fact, I'm going to go outside, run you through it roughly out there, and then talk you through this, and it'll make loads more sense then. So, rather than have a massive shower on the side of the pond, and I haven't got the flow to provide to it, I'm going to have a massive shower up here. Huge, like properly big. The water's going to come from the drum into the bottom tray. So I'll have one of these bottom trays, but I'm going to have it solid with outlets on it. That's going to hold water. It's going to be a couple of pumps, one for each spray bar. Bosh. Then that's going to eventually overflow out by gravity, come up and have the nice stainless like water fountain there. So I'm going to try and explain this, but not in too much detail. So the shower itself is a 4-tier shower, 1.5 meter double width backy shower with a bottom tray. So it's got 4 active trays, and I'm going to be adding another 16 boxes of backy house to what I've already got in my shower, which has got 8 kilos of the original and then 20 kilos of the new style. And I'll layer each, what comes out of each tier on mine will go into the 4 active trays. Then the bottom one is basically a tank, which is going to hold water and help, which is going to allow me to have 2 pumps feeding from it to pump over this shower. And then the water from the drum is going to feed into the inlets of the pumps. I'm not going to go into massive detail because it'll just bore you to death. So the water is going to overflow from this bottom tray out of this 4-inch outlet pipe. So that's a 4-inch T, another 4-inch T and a 90 bend. That's going to overflow out to this 4-inch return pipe and come up to the bottom of the water blade and return to the pond. So you can see what's sort of happening now. It's coming in, being sprayed over, some's probably going over a couple of times, overflowing out of this 4-inch pipe up to the bottom of the water blade and back into the pond. I will explain this actually, because I think some people will find this interesting. For those that don't know, this is called an up pipe. Now, most people just strap a bit of a waste boss pipe onto here, which is only like 38mm. And I think this is going to work a lot better. So this is a 4-inch T-piece with a 4-inch pipe coming up. I can adjust the height of this 4-inch pipe, by the way. This dot represents what I think is going to be the water level, where the water is going to sit in the pipe. And then this is a 4-inch to 1.5-inch rubber reducer. And then this pipe here is 1.5 inch. So for those that don't know how an up pipe works, with a shower you get a lot of natural foaming. So when you look into a pond and you see that froth at the bottom of your shower where the water's just crashed in, that's what's going to be happening where this water collects here. Now as it overflows down this bottom return pipe, by the time the water gets to about this section and it's chilled out a bit, all the bubbles and the proteins will have floated to the top. Now with this being a bigger 4-inch T-piece, I think you're going to get a lot more turbulence in this area, and the bubbles and scums and proteins will push up better, and then this can be adjusted to perfection, and then the foam, rather than coming out here, will come up here, and then as it builds up it'll spit out into the bucket. At least that's what I think is going to happen. It'll either work or it won't. If it don't, I'm going to just attach a protein skimmer on this side somewhere. I'll work some out, but I'm super confident this is going to work, and I'm confident that this design is going to work really well. I hope it does, and I hope people copy it, because them taking the chance with it has worked. Right, it's time to get the chag out. I'm going to do some scrapes. I can't see her having anything on her. No fish has done a roll in months. I'm hoping it's just that little nick on the side. Right, wish me luck. My duck. Cheers, my duck. Taking some knocking out. She's a big one. Moment of truth. I think she went in at 79. I think, or 76. Come on, chill out. Come round here. 88. With mouth touching the end?
Yep.
That'll do me. Into my arms, Shelley. Roll into my arms, Shelley. Let me pick you up, Shelley. There she goes, Shelley. There she goes. You. Nothing major. You get me a nice close up in there, just so I can monitor progress. Yeah. Come on, gal. job. Well, thankfully, by the following weekend, the Chag was looking brand new and my shower was ready for collection. Definitely no gold in there. Listen, Shirley. Yeah, come on, Shirley. Don't try this at home, kids. This is dangerous. Pipe's working a treat. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this first vlog. If you have, please do give it a thumbs up and don't forget to press subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're bored and need something else to watch, UK Pond Tour. See you soon. Oh, my arse is dead.